gosh, I'm so excited to be joining you guys. It is Saturday, September the 10th, and you are on week 4 of our new consultant training. I'm going to really try to stay like in the middle because there's stuff in the background, and I love this really pretty background, but the objects, because it's not just plain, it keeps kind of like popping up. So let me introduce myself. My name is Crystal Moudy. I am an independent sales director with Mary Kay. I have been growing my business now for 6 years, 5 years strictly full time. And I'm so happy to be joining you guys. I'm going to really keep this to 30 minutes. I have my timer on my phone set. And don't mind me, I have notes on my phone that I'm going to be reading from. But week 4 is all about just tracking growth. And we're going to be going over like the emotional cycle, how to work through that, allowing yourself to be coachable with your mentor, accountability and why that's so important in our businesses, and creating your I story. That way, when you talk about marketing, you're more confident and comfortable with discussing who you are and what Mary Kay has done for you, what you hope for it to do for you, and what it already has done for you. So let's jump into this. Again, you guys, don't feel like a deer in the headlights. This is kind of tying into accountability. We all have life that happens. So for some reason, you're like, OMG, I didn't even know about new consultant training, or I'm so behind, I missed weeks 1 through 3. You guys can go back and watch the replays. I'm somebody like I have to watch multiple times because I'm such a note taker and sometimes I miss key stuff. So if that is you, it is okay. Go back and watch it, but hold yourself accountable to that time and making sure you're doing it. And although we've named this new consultant training, please know, you guys, it's not just new consultant training. This is really for seasoned consultants as well. So don't feel like, oh my gosh, I'm too seasoned. Like this isn't for me. Okay. So I'm going to go over some things that are really important in your business. So emotional cycle. So Mary Kay is like a relationship. You don't jump ship the moment it gets hard. Walk through the emotional cycle. I'm going to repeat that. Mary Kay is like a relationship. You don't jump ship the moment it gets hard. Okay, walk through the emotional cycle. And it's true. All of us have been in some sort of relationship, okay? Short-term, long-term. And things get difficult. And so if that is you, typically we don't just say, oh my gosh, I'm done. I'm out of this relationship. I'm going to end my marriage. I'm going to break up with my boyfriend or my girlfriend. We work through it, right? And that's the same thing with our businesses. It is a kind of like a roller coaster, you guys. There's going to be times where you're riding the peak, you're climbing that roller coaster, and you're just feeling high on life, okay? And then there's times where it's coming down the hill and your stomach's kind of up in your throat, and you're like, oh, I don't know if I really like this, but I kind of do, but I kind of don't. And then there's going to be times where you're like, oh, why is this roller coaster going so slow? I was really looking for the loops and the drops, okay? And that's really our business. And we definitely have, if those of you that have kind of worked through this, especially during COVID, have seen those different seasons kind of happening in your business, right? We've had to pivot and do more virtual stuff. I know for me that really impacted my business in a more positive manner, but I know it's something to get used to for sure. For me, even StreamYard is something, this is all new to me. Up until today, I didn't know how to pre-record a video. I didn't know how to add a background. I didn't know how to do that cute little countdown. Thank you, Rachel Bond, for teaching me that. And so it's being open and receptive to learning new stuff. And sometimes it can be really overwhelming and sometimes it can be really frustrating, and that's okay. Accept that and say, okay, I might not know how to do this yet, but I'm going to learn how to do it. And that's something I've really started to incorporate into my life recently is someone that I've met recently, a friend. They told me, they're like, hey, have you ever been skydiving? I said, I have. And then I asked him, have you? And he said, no, not yet. And I'm like, wow, I really like how you said that. And he said, you know what? I approach life in that manner. If I don't know how to do something or I haven't done it yet, I add the yet to it, because it doesn't mean I haven't done it right now. Doesn't mean I'm never going to do it. So why not attach yet to it? So same thing for you guys. Maybe life happened for you yesterday and you couldn't do booking calls. I didn't do booking calls today. I haven't done them yet, but I'm going to do them, right? Or, you know what, I'm really freaked out about putting facial boxes out. I haven't done them yet, but I'm going to, okay? Now, I'm not saying just let it linger there, attach a date, attach a deadline to it, but it's better than just saying, I don't know how to do it. I'm just not going to learn. I don't know how to do it yet, Okay. And even for me, you guys, I'm not completely tech savvy. All of this has been so new, like learning how to use StreamYard, learning how to use Zoom, and navigating through that. And don't be afraid to reach out to your mentor, reach out to other consultants. Maybe they are more knowledgeable in those areas, and it's okay to pick their brains. For me, the QR codes, I used to call them QVC codes. I'm still not completely proficient with it yet, but I am working through it. And even if it takes me, it might take somebody 30 minutes to figure it out, and it might take me a whole day to figure out. It's okay. I'm going to figure it out. Okay. And then the cool thing is, once I figure it out, then I can be like, oh, I can check that off. I'm more proficient in it. Okay. And the emotional cycle too, life is going to happen. Life does not stand still. And so it's really up to you to navigate through that. Okay. And I'm not saying that, you had a death in the family, tough cookies, get over it, move on. No, deal with it in the way you need to deal with it. But there's a difference between being stuck there versus learning how to navigate through that. So without getting like completely personal with you guys, those of you that kind of know my story, about 2 years ago, I went through a lot of life. So the end of August marked 2 years ago that I lost my father to cancer. It was a very rapid decline. He was diagnosed in June of 2020, and by the end of August, he was already gone. It was very quick, very unexpected. And on top of that, my then husband and I were renting a room from some friends. He got into a physical altercation with them and got us kicked out of our house. So I was then homeless on top of losing my father. And it was a blessing in disguise. I was pretty much ready to pull the plug on my marriage regardless. I just wanted to deal with my dad first. But he made the decision when I went to go visit my mom out of state to pull the plug on our marriage. And so husbandless, fatherless, homeless, okay, all within like a week span. And I could have really just deteriorated, crawled underneath a rock and pretended life wasn't happening around me. And I'm like, well, that's going to serve no purpose for me or anyone around me. And some of you do this business as a side hustle. Some of you do it for a discount. And some of you are wanting even more out of this business. Like you see that this is a buffet and you want to fill up that plate and you're like, heck yeah, sign me up. I want everything Mary Kay has to offer to me, because you're smart, because you want to maximize this business. And for me, this is my full-time job. So I couldn't just crawl underneath a rock and pretend life wasn't happening. I had to navigate through it. I had to really work. And for me, I'm someone, when I'm dealing with a lot of life, working and doing what I'm passionate about, which is my Mary Kay business, fuels me even more, and it fills up my cup. Okay. So just know life does happen to all of us, and none of us as your mentor are trying to diminish anything you're going through. Deal with it. Divorces aren't easy. Death is not easy. Health issues are not easy. Even, if that pertains to mental health issues, like, we want you to be your best version of yourself. Just know that life will always happen around you. And so it's whether you allow life to kick you down or boost you up. Okay. And sometimes what we're going through really can empower others. Now, I'm not saying that you got to be an open book when you go to your parties, you break down crying, you say, let me just tell you what I'm going through. But when I tell women, like, I just had a party yesterday, they're like, my gosh, Crystal, you just have the strength about you. You must just be a really strong woman. And I said, that means a lot to me. I said, I've had a lot of life happen. And one of the ladies was, because I share with them that I ride a Harley, right? And she was like, oh, so you ride with your husband? I said, no, I don't have a husband. I said, I have 2 ex-husbands. And I have a joke. And I say, buying my Harley was a lot cheaper than getting a 3rd ex-husband. And so I get like a really great little chuckle. And she was just like, wow, you really have been through a lot of life, huh? And I said, I have. And I said, I'm very blessed with my business. And I share that with you guys because it's going to happen. There's going to be things that happen within your business. You're going to have cancellations. Get over it. Okay. Like, I know no easier way to say that, but to get over it. People are going to cancel on you. Here in Southern California, I know we have a pretty high cancellation rate. It's about 50% of our parties cancel. And so if you're noticing more cancellations, guess what? Book more. Okay. Book more. So you're holding more. It's okay. It's going to happen. Don't get sad. If you offered someone a piece of gum tomorrow or mint and they declined and said no thank you, would you get sad? Would you throw a tantrum and yell at them? No, you say, okay, no problem, and you move on. See it as the same. It's changing your mindset as well. So if you have a cancellation, say to yourself, okay, maybe that's a blessing. That party wouldn't have been maybe a great party, wouldn't have been fun. Maybe it would have been maybe a waste of my time. Maybe I'm not meant to bless that person right now. And be respectful of your time. So what I mean by that is if you had marked off on your calendar for a party today for 2 hours and they unfortunately had a family emergency, something happened, they needed to reschedule or cancel on you, respect that 2 hours. Go out and lead generate. Do some booking calls. Respect that 2 hours that you had allotted for your business and still continue to do something for your business. Trust me, it'll make you feel better about the cancellation. Okay. You're going to have team members that are going to quit. It happens, you guys. I had an offspring and she made the decision to step down, and that's okay. It happens, you guys. People come and go in Mary Kay. We say they go to Mary Kay heaven, and sometimes it's just not the right season. I had a wonderful conversation with one of my consultants yesterday. She is an amazing woman. She has a lot of life happening. And she was so sweet, you guys. She said, Crystal, I just don't know if this is something I can commit to right now. Would it be okay if I remained your customer? And I said, girlfriend, totally cool. You remain my customer when and if the time comes that you feel that you're in a better season, that you want to pursue doing Mary Kay. I will be here with open arms to welcome you back. She even offered her house to do a party. She's like, if you ever want to do a party here, I have the pool in the back with an outdoor bathroom. I'm like, girl, we might do a pampering pool party session, right? So just, again, you guys, stuff is going to happen. You're going to have $0 parties. Don't be sad about it. Take what you can from the party, that you blessed other women, that you made them feel special, that you had some good laughs, that you made some new friends, you got some referrals, and guess what? It's in the follow-up. So when you follow up with them, hey, CZQ, we did a wish list for you at your party. It's been 2 weeks. I wanted to see if anything from the wish list you're still really wanting because I'm placing an order, okay? So work through the emotional cycle. Don't get stuck. Work through it. And the quicker you have bounce back ability, you guys, the quicker you will work through the emotion, okay? Being coachable. Oh my gosh, you guys, I can't stress the importance of this. You guys all have a mentor, whether that's me, whether that's Crystal Trojanowski, whether that's Rachel Wall, all of you, and we can go down the list of the sales directors. You all have a mentor. Utilize them. The only difference between our position and you being a beauty consultant is we have quicker bounce back ability. And I'm just going to be raw and transparent with y'all. We make more money than you. Okay, that's it. And you can get to our level, if not higher. So we are in the positions we are because guess what happened? We were coachable with our mentors, okay? Now, I'm not saying that we have all the knowledge in the world. I'm still learning, okay? But we put forth the effort and did what our mentors told us to do. Not because we were just blind. We're like, okay, we're robots. No, because it's what their mentors taught them. It's what their mentors taught them. We haven't really changed anything in Mary Kay in 60 years. With the exception of doing more virtual stuff because of COVID. It's been the same formula. You get the leads, you book them, you see the faces, repeat. You get the leads, you book them, you see the faces, repeat. It's the same thing. But sometimes there's things, especially as a new consultant, that you're not as seasoned, and we're here to help you. So if you're having multiple $0 parties, okay, let's have a real conversation. Maybe it's in how you're delivering the questions at the end. Maybe it's individual consultation. Let's dig a little further. If you're wanting team members and that's not happening, okay, let's have a conversation. What does your marketing look like? How can I further assist you as your mentor? Those sorts of conversations. But if your mentor gives you a challenge to do it. She's challenging you for a reason because it's going to benefit you in your business. So be coachable. When your mentor mentions doing training calls or share calls or whatever your mentor calls them, which is a 3-way call between you, yourself, and a potential, take advantage of it for multiple reasons. One, it's great for your potential to hear from a sales director because we make up 2% of the company. So they're going to see that it's a real thing, that we're not just magic, okay, that we're not real, we're a facade. The second thing it's going to do for you is it's going to allow you to hear us talk through some hesitations that people have with starting their business, or maybe just questions in general on how this business works. That way, when you're in front of someone, it's going to make you more confident about talking about the marketing opportunity. But please utilize us. Like I utilize my mentor training calls all the time up until I became a sales director. Okay. So don't ever stop using your mentor. We are here throughout the duration of your business. Even once you become a sales director, like we don't stop being your mentor. We are always here to help you. So utilize us. I guarantee you those that are more coachable are the ones that become more successful in the business because they're taking the advice of their mentor. Okay. Accountability. So accountability is showing up to your weekly meetings. If your mentor has a recognition form, making sure that you fill it out, and supporting events your director and national put out. So showing up to weekly meetings. I really want to stress the importance of this. So I know all of your mentors do some sort of weekly meeting. I don't care if it's pre-recorded. I don't care if it's live. It is a meeting, whether it's 30 minutes to an hour once a week. You guys should be setting off or scheduling that time on your calendar. Now, if it's a pre-recorded meeting, I would definitely try and make sure that you're part of it on that particular date and time, but I get different time zones. So make sure that, the day after you're setting aside that 30 minutes to an hour to watch the replay and communicate with your director. Say, hey, this was my takeaway from the meeting, or, hey, I don't know if you're able to at the next meeting. I kind of have a question. If I have a question, maybe another consultant has a question. Would you mind touching upon this either one-on-one with me, or maybe it's something in the future you can bring up as a topic on our meetings. We're really here, you guys, to hear that sort of feedback. We're not opposed to it, okay? But if you're not communicating with us, then we don't know what's going on. Taking advantage of your director and nationals events. This is so important, you guys. So Crystal Trojanowski, our amazing national, once a month puts out a virtual spa night. And she gives a deadline of you having people fill out the form. I'm just going to be real with you guys. I fill out the form for my customers, okay? Because some of them don't remember my last name, or they're like, what's your cell phone number? So I fill it out for them, okay? But regardless, she gives you a deadline of when to have it filled out. She's mailing the pampering kits for you. So number one, it costs you $0. Did you see that? $0. She's sending out the pampering kits. She's sending out the samples. She's paying for the postage. The other thing is it doesn't take any of your time at all. She's doing the work for you. She's popping on for 30 minutes to an hour of her time to do a virtual event for you, and she's sending out pampering kits. So it's not your time, nor is it your money. But yet every week or every month, we see consultants not taking advantage of this event. And literally, guys, it's making a decision. So as of yesterday, I had 0 guests on for Crystal's virtual event that's taking place on the 15th. I sent out mass text messages yesterday because I wasn't getting responses back. I now have 12 guests, okay? So just know that you guys can change the temperature of your business. Now, what happens if you miss the boat? For an example, Crystal's event happening on the 15th of September, and she didn't mail out pampering kits for you. That's okay. Do you have samples? Go out and warm chat. I've done that before, and I'm still going to do that because there's still plenty of time to get people to Crystal's event. We're only on the 9th of September. So I'm going to carry pampering kits in my car of the samples that I know Crystal's sending out. And literally, if I'm in a store or something, I'll tell them, hey, you gave me really great customer service. Here's a little pampering kit to do some self-care on yourself, girl. I'm sure you would love it. And what's your phone number? I'm going to send you a link. Or if we don't have a link yet, I'll send her the flyer. I'm going to send you a flyer of a virtual event happening on the 15th. I'll have a YouTube link probably a couple days beforehand. Tune in on this day at that time. If you can't, you can watch the replay. And I'll do a follow-up with you. Does that sound okay? So just know you can change the temperature of your business. Your directors offer virtual events. Take advantage of them. I know with my girls, I do a beauty bingo. I just did a marketing event. Take advantage of it because guess what? It's our time we're setting aside to help you be even more successful in your businesses. So for us, I'm going to be real with you. If you're not taking advantage of the events, we feel like you're telling us we don't need your help. Okay. That's how we perceive it. So you are in charge or you're in control of changing the temperature of your business. And then the last thing I want to touch upon is creating your I story. So creating your I story. So for me, my I story is kind of like I kind of tie it in 2 different ways. So in the beginning, when I do my pampering sessions, typically in home or in person or virtual, I do like in the beginning a quick little 2 to 3 minute commercial, and I give a little insight of myself. And for me, I really touch upon how I'm not a girly girl, because I'm not. I ride a Harley. I've been playing the drums since 5th grade. I took car mechanics in high school and college, was never into skincare or makeup, was really never a dress type of girl, okay, to be real. And I share that because I feel there's a lot of people that can connect with that. So my iStory, I talk about who I am briefly. So if you are married with children and that's something you're proud of, share that, okay? If you are single and ready to mingle, don't be afraid to share that either, okay? And then I share how I got into Mary Kay. I had a girlfriend of mine who I knew sold Mary Kay and wasn't using good skincare, decided I wanted to better improve my mug. So I scheduled an appointment with her and I test drove the products and I fell in love with them. And I wanted to buy everything. And then she kind of went over the business opportunity with me and said, why don't you sign as a beauty consultant and get 50% off your skincare and makeup? I'm a sucker for a deal. So I said yes. And then I talk about how I just sprinkled it in very minimally because I worked a corporate job at the time. And then part of my iStory, I share how I got laid off from my job and made the decision that I wanted to just not go back and pursue doing this full time. And then for me, one of my accolades I share in the beginning is how I drive a career car currently, working towards earning my 3rd free career car. And then by the end of this year, earning my pink Cadillac. So just kind of setting up for them what my goal is. When I did this several years ago, before I was a sales director, what I would share with them is my goal is to become a sales director with the company so I can eventually quit my corporate job, and see how I kind of was just shoved into just not going back to a corporate job. Then when I go over the marketing at the very end, because I have a flyer that I show to them when I go over deals and discounts, and I go over the 2 options to get started, the 30 or the 130, I talk about briefly what I envision in my Mary Kay business. So I kind of share with them, because I go over 5 basic questions that people ask me about the business. And the 5th question is, why Mary Kay? And that for me is where I tie in more of my iStory. And I say, I tell them, for me, Mary Kay has been a blessing in so many ways. I get a little personal. I share with them 2 years ago, I lost my father. Because of this business, because of driving a career car, I have been able to go visit my mom, every couple of months. She's 800 miles away, 10 hours in New Mexico. And because of this business and the flexibility, I'm able to go and commit that time to her, be there for her, and just show up as her daughter the way I've needed to. And so for you guys, your iStory, just know you guys don't have to be so vulnerable. Some of us, I don't mind sharing with you guys. I am a domestic violence survivor. My previous marriage, I've been married twice. My most recent one, it was a verbal and physical abusive relationship. And that's not something that everybody's going to be comfortable disclosing. And I don't share that just vulnerably at all my parties. There's been times where when I'm doing a one-on-one, recently I did an in-home, and one of the guests that was there, she was kind of sharing because I saw potential in her being a consultant. And she said, I would, but I'm getting out of a very violent relationship. And we kind of teared up, and she saw me tear up, and she was like, you have to, haven't you? And I said, yeah. I said, if you don't mind me being vulnerable. And so we had a really just transparent conversation, and just know that doesn't have to be you. Okay. I'm not someone that wears my emotions on my sleeves, and I'm not like an open book. A lot of people don't know some of the things I've gone through because that's not me. I don't like shout it out to the world, and that's okay. Your iStory, you guys, should be why you started Mary Kay, what it has already done for you. So maybe it's provided you extra income. It's provided you a great discount on your products. It's provided you extra friends. It's built your confidence. Maybe you weren't such a confident woman, but why you started Mary Kay, what it's already done for you, and what you hope for it to do for you, what your goals are. So maybe it's, hey, I started Mary Kay a year ago or 6 months ago, or I'm brand new in my business, but I started Mary Kay because, man, I just wanted a good discount on my products, or, I want to purchase a home, and it's really difficult working just a regular job to earn that income. And so I saw this as a opportunity to earn some extra income, whatever that looks like. What it has done for me, it's this is my first party. So, my vision is to make some money from this party and for us to have some fun and for me to make you guys feel great about yourselves and learn about skincare. Or maybe it's so far Mary Kay has put $200 in my pocket, or so far Mary Kay has been able to provide some extra income for me and my family. We're saving up for a vacation, something along those lines. And what do you hope for it to do? I just hope that Mary Kay continues to put some extra income in my pocket. My long-term goal is to purchase a home, or my long-term goal is me and my family want to buy Disneyland season passes, or a long-term goal. You know what? I love the idea of being my own boss babe. And so my long-term goal is to become a sales director in the company, promote myself to the 2%, and be able to leave my corporate job and strictly work for myself. So really work on that. And your iStory should be about 2 to 3 minutes. You don't want to go into this. So back in the day, I used to be, I used to get bullied in school because of wearing braces. Again, keep it short and concise. 2 to 3 minutes, and feel free to share your iStory with your mentors. That way we can maybe be like, hey, Cheryl, you shared with us in the past that you dealt with some skincare issues and Mary Kay has really cleared up your skin. Would you feel comfortable in your iStory maybe sharing that with the ladies there? Like, hey, I used to not be such a confident woman because I had some skincare issues and I started using Mary Kay and it really cleared it up. And it gave me back that confidence that I lost so many years ago. So don't be afraid to share your iStory. I know it's kind of being a little vulnerable with us, but we'll keep it strictly between you and I, right? But sometimes there's things that we see in you guys that really should be a part of your iStory because it can really empower other women. I know for me, I am very vocal that I ride a Harley. I am proud of that because it was something I wanted for 16 years. And I recently got a consultant because she got so excited because she's young, but she's wanted a Harley since she was a little girl. And she was like, you are meant to be my mentor. And I was just like, wow, that's really cool. So you never know when something in your iStory will really resonate with someone, whether it's a hobby that you do or maybe just something personal that you've gone through in your life that'll really help you to connect with somebody else. And again, I'm not telling you put your life story out there, you guys, okay? But sometimes there are things that I really feel a benefit to be shared. So I hope this training blessed you all and helped you guys today. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to your mentor or you can comment below. I'll be more than happy to go through them and answer any questions that you have. But thanks for joining me on this Saturday morning. And I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day. Take care and make it a powerful month, you guys.